Welcome back to financialfreedomodyssey.com. My name is Mark here with another portfolio update video. Today we're going to look at June of 2025, and this is the 10th month in a row that I've done this video. First, as always, we're going to start off looking at the major indices versus my RRSP. In June has been another month up and to the right ever since April, tail end of April into May and June. Been seeing some insane gains. A couple speed bumps here and there. Markets tend to overreact pretty quickly these days to news, whether it is positive or negative. Looking at the individual ETFs that I have versus the indices, VDY is the only one that has beaten it, and that's tracking its index of TSX 60. Just not really its index. VDY is heavily weighted, as we've talked about often before, to TD and Royal Bank, making up, I believe it's something like 30% of it. So yeah, single stock wise, TD has been absolutely slaying it over the last few months. I did sell a few of my shares, I think like 20% a few months back, but I'm glad I did not sell the entire position. SCHD continues to disappoint. If you look at SCHD, scroll down a little bit here, so it's only up just less than 1%, and the Dow Jones is up 4.23%, so not loving that. Taking a quick look at the AAII Investor Sentiment Survey. It now has us at 45% bullish and 33% bearish. This is quite a change from April when we were 62% bullish. Let's actually take a quick look there. If I open this up, and let me bring it full screen here. Let's see here. So we're at 45% bullish, it's showing now, 20% neutral, 33 in the bear category. The 1 year bearish high, I believe you looked at this. So this was back in April, 62%. So almost cut in half. So yeah, it's definitely getting to be a greedy market, that's for sure. Back to the portfolio here. Looking at the indices, S&P 500 is up 4.5%, NASDAQ almost 6%, Dow Jones a little over 4%, and TSX 60 just over 1%. Like we said earlier, VDY is the only one that's beating its index. It's not the exact same thing. XAW looking pretty solid here. SCHD underperforming, and VTI pretty close to the S&P 500. Since this is total stock market, if you kind of average these out, it's tracking well. Jumping into the moves that I made, one thing I finally decided to do was liquidate my entire Thales position back at the beginning of June. And other than that, we did typical buys in the TFSA and a larger than normal buy in the RRSP. Let's take a look at the specifics. As always, mainly dripped my 1 share of cash. From this Thales sale, I allocated about 60% into XEI and 40% into VFV. I think I have XEI about as high as I want it to go now. Future contributions will probably be towards VFV, but that can always change. I did have a small position in ACT or Aduro Clean Technology. I let it ride. It was up about 85%. I just ended up taking the gains there and put it into QQCL, since I was a little bit down on QQCL in terms of book price. Obviously factored in the high dividend there, and I'm not down. And then with my normal buy, I mostly put it into HXQ, and I add a little bit more to Google and AMD. which is something I've been thinking of over the last week or so too, is if I want to put more into it. I mean, AMD has been on an absolute tear. I think I'm up like 40 or 50% on it right now. Google, I was looking at this morning, I'm up far less than the Qs is up. So yeah, we will see. I still think Google can run, but Google's never really traded super rich. So yeah, we will see. When in doubt, go with the indices, right? So here's a breakdown of my entire TFSA. So as you can see, there's one less triangle in the pie chart because of the sale of TELUS. And have noted here that I've liquidated or trimmed all positions that I've been seriously considering. You know, there's always potential for more. I had some chats with some friends of mine this weekend, and a lot of them are really just going towards the, hey, let's just buy some S&P 500, some NASDAQ, a bit on the Canadian side, a bit on the global side, and just kind of set it and forget it. Yeah, I like that idea. There's nothing wrong with that idea. I do want to try to squeeze out a little bit more gains, especially while, I'm pretty comfortable where I am in my life. Work's been a lot busier, but other than that, I still do find some time to really dig into stocks. So yeah, just to call out, I think I've talked about this before. GDV is my last split share fund. I do have EIT.UN still. I'm up a good amount on this one. It's just so consistent. I feel like I will hang on to that close-end fund, but GDV, took another look at it. It's like 75% S&P 500, I believe, or something crazy. So kind of feel like I should just maybe put some in VFE and maybe some in HXQ. But yeah, we'll see. HYLD, again, it's just like S&P 500, but I don't think it's really outperformed the S&P 500. Whereas like HDIV, it has outperformed its underlying index. So worth considering. And that's even without me dripping, I believe. Because I'm still I'm manually investing. Which again, when my life gets busier, that may no longer be the case. I might just, allocate my monthly buy and just let everything else drip. So looking at the TFSAs, primary one first. Not too much to change here, except for AMD went up a bit, Google went up a bit, and HXQ went up a bit. So it is now just over cash. And VDY is the largest position there. Now what is it overall? Is it still VDY or is it VFV now? Oh, VDY is still my overall TFSA, the highest. Now going down to the secondary TFSA, I have VFE as the lion's share, then XEI since the TELUS sale, then Bank and TD. Yeah, TD's really shot up over the last couple months here. Jumping to the RSP, I wanted to buy some more VTI. Again, everything has really went up over the last few months, and in order to get the number of shares that I wanted, had to scrape the barrel, bottom of the barrel, and really run in that red line. But hey, we were able to just get it, and yeah, I know some people may say you shouldn't buy when it's this frothy and that sort of thing, but like we talked about before, I believe in dollar cost averaging. Paired that with when things are lower, if you had 10% more money that you can toss it in. So yeah, VTI is just shy of 50%, which will probably stay similar. I'm not sure. It's been a couple months since I've contributed to the Spezzle, so I'll probably do that, but we will see next month. Nothing of note in terms of the dividend increases and decreases. And taking a look at the Fear and Greed Index, we are sitting at extreme greed. This was taken on July 3rd. If I look today, we are into the greed category. Put it up full screen. So yeah, we've just tucked into the greed category. Greedy a week ago, greedy a month ago, but less so, and then neutral a year ago. And what was this showing? Yeah, but the same here when I looked on July 3rd. So yeah, so that's all for this month. Folks, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you back here for another video.